everyone. We're going to look at doing your own version of Starry Nights. All the old masters, such as Van Gogh, they always put a coloured ground down. You can use an ochre, you can use a sienna, you can use a burnt umber or a neutral grey. It's anything just to knock the white back so that when you do put white on, it will jump out and it will pop out and look a lot brighter. So what I'm doing here, to save you watching me paint a ground colour, because that'll take a while on a board this size, I'm using the back of a piece of mount board. Okay, so that's roughly a kind of ochre colour. What you can do, if you don't want to go to that kind of extent, and using up waste materials, which I always love doing at home, use yourself a cereal box, you know, the inside of a cereal box, cardboard box, perfect colour for a ground, and if you're using acrylics it will go fine onto that kind of material. I took a picture and I printed it out. So this is basically the view from my bedroom. So I've got like this lovely mountain in the background, and then in the foreground here I've got a tree which has got no leaves on it at the moment. But what I wanted to do to make it to a similar format to Van Gogh's Starry Nights, what I was going to do is I went down to the garden and I took a picture of the tree. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of artistic license. I'm going to use the mountain, I'm going to cut out all these houses that are opposite, and then I'm going to raise this tree up so that it comes into the foreground a bit more like that. Okay, so once you've done your ground, what you need to do next is to get the skyline in. And doesn't matter really what colour you use. I'm just going to use a dark colour so that you can see it. So draw in the mountain, so it's going to come up like that and down like that. So that's going to be my skyline. And then once you've done that, if you can start putting in a guide for where your stars are going to be. Okay, now I know there might be a few of you out there with kids. Now if it's too messy for you to use paints, then you can use crayons for doing this. So for instance, if we're drawing this is the moon here, and if you're going to be using crayons, it's just going to be lots of little marks. And then you want these like swirly effects in as well that come in from this side. Just using small marks to begin with to give yourself a guide. Okay, now that's if you're using crayons. You can still do the same kind of thing with paints. This is why I say take your time on this one, because this is a nice kind of meditative technique. The best thing to do is to use quite a small brush, and you can start putting these strokes in, and it's almost like pointillism, you know, it's just little marks, and what you want to do is actually fill this background up, and it's just a case of keep working at it really. Another thing I was going to suggest, if you are at home working with kids, I know kids love getting their hands messy, and as long as you've got paint that's washable, doesn't get stuck on your clothes, it's brilliant if they can just use their fingerprints and they can do this kind of thing. Like so. Once you get into this, you start building it up, and it does take a long time, because what you really want to do is try and lose as much of this background colour as possible. The sky is now filled. This is what I'm saying, just take time and do it in your own time. Okay, keep building it up, and you can keep going with this for hours really. And once you get to this stage, you want to start putting in your own view, so whatever you're going to put in there. So I'm now going back to my reference of the mountain, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use, if you look at the original one again, You can see the mark making is slightly different in the view. It's much longer and much more drawn out. It's not so small. So I'm going to put in some of the mountain marks using quite long strokes, and also the balance of the colour. This bottom third is obviously quite a lot darker, so the sky really jumps out a lot more. If you want to know what colours I have been using, I'm not going to be too specific because I've, again, just used whatever you've got at home. I've just got a yellow, a white, 2 different blues and a dark brown. Okay, and now what I'm going to do in this bottom part is I'm going to use the dark brown mixed with the dark blue, and I'm just going to start putting in some marks for the mountain. So I'm going to put in a bit of a flat bit along there, bring the mountains down. Again, I could keep on working on this for ages to build it up, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in the tree. I don't think that's going to need too much detail on it, but what I might do is, just because we've got the moon on this side, I might just put a little hint of a reflection of the moonlight on the side of the trunk, just to pick it out from the background a bit. Okay, so there's obviously a lot more work I could do to this, but hopefully this will have inspired you to do something of your own. I'm going to carry on working on the background and try and get it a lot more finished looking. Now, what I really love is people to go away and get on with your own work now, and if you do get something that you're pleased with, could you please post it on my page or on the VC Gallery page? Have fun painting. Bye.